Hey LeGrand Alive, this is your weekly Newsish Roundup brought to you by Grand Run Hospital and Direct Music Source. It's been a fire-filled weekend. Sunday night, after a restful day of reading and relaxing, my girlfriend Lydia and I were looking out from my window on Depot Street when suddenly we smelled smoke and noticed the air was a grayish tint. We were curious, so we went outside, walked down the alleyway behind some of the restaurants on Adams Avenue, and, sure enough, there it was, a plume of smoke billowing from an air vent behind GC Asian Fusion, a local Oriental restaurant here in La Grande. We walked by casually, not really wanting to disturb the firefighters who were pulling up, or the somewhat frantic waiters milling around in the alleyway outside. Apparently, the fire was the result of a small appliance downstairs, at the restaurant. But what amazed Lydia and I was that there were still customers in the restaurant, being served. That's good customer service. They still serve your food, even when the floor is burning out from underneath them. Just kidding. The fire wasn't apparently that big of a deal. But other fires this weekend were. About 1:45 p.m. on Saturday, a fire broke out near I-84 around Mecum and closed down the highway until Sunday night. At its peak, the fire was 500 acres. The team fighting it included 2 helicopters, 2 bulldozers, 7 single-engine air tankers, and almost 285 firefighters. A level 3 evacuation notice for people living around Emigrant Springs was issued, but that's in the past. Thankfully, as of last night, many of the firefighters have been demobilized, according to Larry Wooldridge, the fire chief of La Grande Rural Fire District. The fire has gone from a 35 to 55% containment. Things are dying down, it seems. Firefighters still don't know the cause of the fire was, but one has to wonder, if more people had watched my weekly roundup last week and known about the new ODF fire rules, would this blaze still have happened? Spread the word, people. La Grande Alive fights fires. There's also a fire burning about 10 miles southwest of Unity, Oregon, too. This fire is even bigger than the one between La Grande and Pendleton, 700 acres in fact, but none of it is currently threatening homes, private properties, or people. Thank God. There's a level 1 evacuation notice for several homes, and police have closed the South Fork Burnt River Road to all traffic except for vehicles and residents. And more weekend weirdness. There was an almost 13,000 person power blackout this weekend. You probably experienced it like I did. I was there in the office, actually, editing a new LeGrandeAlive.tv short when suddenly all the power went out. I freaked out. Premiere closed, my project died, I yelled and screamed, but ultimately nothing could be done. Everything was gone, my project, my edits, my last 4 hours of work. Frustrated, I pulled out my sketchbook and started drawing until about 2 hours later, around 5:45 p.m., the power came back on, and fortunately, all of my work was there. Auto-saved saved my butt once again. However, other businesses that actually didn't have such a good time of it. Businesses like Safeway and the Granada Theater and many small restaurants had to close during that time, and many businesses with a refrigerated section had to take special measures to save their produce. Ultimately, the blackout caused by a problem with a substation on Geckler Lane. So what's the moral of the story? Save your work. You never know when the power could go out, or aliens could shoot an EMP and knock it out in a cataclysmic attack on Earth. So enough of all this death and destruction and darkness. We need some fun things to cheer us up. And good news, there's a lot of fun stuff going on actually, so rejoice. First, the fair's going on in La Grande. Stock owners from hundreds of miles have gathered to show their pigs, horses, cows, goats, and more, to strut and stride and pose their little critters in all sorts of interesting ways, and ultimately, just have a fun time getting together and petting furry creatures. Just a rootin', tootin', goodin' small town time. It's happening all at the fairgrounds this weekend. It opened yesterday with cream and egg pies for show, exotic small animals judging, amusement carnivals, a talent show, a parade downtown, and the Wasteland Kings capped off the evening. Today it continues with booths and more carnival rides. Tonight at 6 p.m., Becky's Studio of Dance will perform. At 8 p.m., the Wheatlanders will perform music. Tomorrow, Friday, the fair opens back up at 8 a.m., booths at 10 a.m., the carnival at 2 p.m., and at 7:30 p.m., Mary Kate will visit the event. Saturday at 4 p.m., the Junior Market Auction will take place, all the way until 5:30 when Blue Tattoo will perform. Ashes to Ashes will also perform at 8:30 p.m. that night. And Sunday is the last day for the fair, and at 3 p.m. all exhibits are released. Admission is $6 for adults, $4 for kids, 7 to 17 years old, and there's also season passes available for $12 and $18 respectively. Veterans are $5, and on Thursday night, seniors over 60 get in for free. For this and more information, check out their website at unioncountyfair.org. But that's not actually the only thing happening this next week. Island City also has its own fun celebration happening on Wednesday, the 11th annual Kids Day Block Party. Essentially, it's a big day of fun and fantastic events and free stuff, all oriented around the kids. Apple Eye Care, the business that's hosting the event, will be giving out free eye exams for kids. There will also be games, free hot dogs and soda, train rides, balloons, flags, water tables, crafts, cards, soda, water, and all sorts of other fun stuff oriented around, as Julie here says, loving on the kids.
We just want the day to be a fun-filled day of not only educational things, health benefits, but just good old-fashioned fun. It's kind of like a kids' carnival. This year we're blessed. We have the Somerville Stables coming out with a petting zoo. We haven't had that before, and I guess they're going to do some free pony rides. And we have George. He comes out and makes balloon animals, and the kids love him.
I've seen him in
poor
crazy days. He's
poor guy. He's just overwhelmed. He gets so many kids, But it's like everybody is doing a part, and in any way they can, they want to help kids, whether it's Head Start or Little Friends Christian Daycare or Heidi Ho Christian Daycare or whoever. They come out and they want to get that information out to the kids. So that's really what it's all about. Fun-filled day. And more than anything, just for us to get a chance to love on kids and their families. It's my favorite day of the year.
So don't get hung up on fires and blackouts. Get out of your house, go down to the fair or out to Island City and have some fun. Animals don't require power, and neither do hot dogs, water tables, and arts and crafts and other small town funness. A couple other things happening here this weekend and early next. There's a teen movie night this Friday at 6 p.m. with free popcorn and soda at the Cook Memorial Library in LeGrand. Also, Jesus washed feet, so modern Christians must wash cars. Union County Young Life will be having a free car wash from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday out at the grocery outlet in Island City. Next Tuesday, the Community Connection of Northeast Oregon is hosting an event to let people know the Senior Needs Assessment results. The event is Tuesday night at the Union County Senior Center. And do you have kids? Well, you should feed them well and eat well yourself while you're at it. And Nature's Pantry can help you with that. They're now accepting applications for a class on August 29th that will teach people about how to do proper nutrition for your kids and yourselves. Also, next Wednesday, beer and books must go well together because the Cook Memorial Library is teaching a class at Tap That Growlers about books in LeGrand. Also Wednesday, there's some funky experimental music happening at the Stage Door Theater at 8 p.m. Two alternative musicians will share their experimental music for our country and classic rock saturated musical taste. Probably good for us. And lastly, Anthony Lakes is hosting a solar eclipse viewing next year. Essentially, you ride up on the run all the way to the top of Anthony Lakes and watch the viewing from the top. It's $50 and you have to register in advance. The eclipse will begin at 10:24 a.m. on August 21st, 2017, a year from now. So sign up and don't miss your opportunity to watch the solar eclipse from probably the best seats in all of the Grand Ronde Valley, except maybe my hot tub with me shirtless. Just kidding, I can't afford a hot tub. In sports, the LeGrand A Legions went to extra innings this weekend and lost, just by a little bit, against North Medford, 4-3. That game was Saturday, and it finished their run for state 2016. LeGrand started in the lead, but they just couldn't hold it. This was their second loss against North Medford in the tournament, their first coming Wednesday, 9-8, a foreboding for what was to be their final game of the season. The 14U LeGrand All-Stars are not done, however. They start their drive through the Region Championships on Thursday in Vancouver, Washington against 13 other teams. They will play their opening game against Wyoming Friday, then play their second game against Utah the following Saturday. If they continue, they will play either Sunday or Monday, depending on their seed in bracket play. Have you ever played softball at night? Well, you have an opportunity to here in LeGrand. the Moonlight Tourney. The Moonlight Tourney is a tradition in LeGrand. For the last 20 years, teams have gathered from all over the valley to play 2 days, literally, straight softball. 2 days and 2 nights until the final game on Sunday morning. And this year, the turnout is great so far. 34 teams have signed up for the event currently. The tournament begins this Friday and runs to Sunday morning. The concession stand is open all night long. It's held at Pioneer Park and participants can camp while they play, provided they actually get time to sleep if they do well in the tournament. I guess this tournament brings a whole new meaning to sleeping on second. And that's your weekly roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Grand Run Hospital and Direct Music Source. Stay tuned for more news roundups and more local content. For LeGrand Alive, I'm Will Bowman.